Hello and welcome to today's class. We're going to be focusing in on how to save and prepare files for downloadable purchases. For this class, I'm going to be using three programs. The first program that you see here is Adobe Photoshop Elements. You can use just regular Photoshop. I prefer Elements just because for an Adobe product it's super inexpensive. So that was my go-to product for this portion of how I save files. The other one is obviously CorelDRAW, where your kits are going to be saved from and that you've created your kit in, and Adobe Illustrator CS6. That's just the version that I have. It's the newest version out. I don't own the program. I purchase the kind of the lease option. I pay monthly to have Adobe Illustrator. It's just a very expensive program, and for the amount that I use it for, it just makes more sense for me to just spend the $20 a month to have it. Okay, so basically today we're going to be taking this cute little rubber ducky clip art set and going to be individually saving these files and wrapping them up onto into a zip folder, along with a few other things that you need to include in your zip folders for your clients, and go over how to save an editable version, an EPS file, and how to create a quick watermark, and how to create a preview sleeve for your clip art set. Excuse me, I'm getting over a cold, so I sound a bit scratchy today. So let's start with how to create your preview sleeve. And here I'm going to use my Graphico as an example again on this, so you can see all these artists' different sleeves. Basically, it's your portion of the preview image that says your name. It says what kind of files is included, and how many images are in that file, the name of the clip art set, etc. Whatever you want to include on that. I will show you mine just to kind of zoom into one style. If you have a logo, you can feel free to use your logo. Alright, for the most part, I try to keep it clean and simple. I don't want it to take away from my clip arts, but let me click on it and try to make it bigger. Okay. Excuse you, baby. My child is sitting beside us, so you're going to hear him in the background a little bit. Here I have a quick little text logo. It's out of date, but it works fine. And with the copyright symbol, if you care to put that in there. I have the amount of images that are included in the clip art set and the type of file formats that are included, the JPG, PNG, EPS file formats. The JPG is all of these separate on a white background. PNG is all of these images separate on a transparent background. And EPS is just one whole file image, this whole complete set, not separated, in an editable file format that they can open up in Adobe Illustrator or GIMP or Corel or any other vector editing software program. I also, for my watermark, I have my name for my design studio, my business, and then all rights reserved, not for sharing, underneath, and the title of the clip art set, which is Sweet Angels for this one. I'm going to show you a different designer so you can see theirs. This is Zenware. I'm a big fan of Zenware designs. I think the things she makes is just incredibly adorable. All right, she has her the name of her business, her little logo, and the name of the clip art set, not for sharing, and her little watermark. She doesn't have the amount of files included in the set or the types of file formats included, but she does put that information down here, I believe, in her description. So if you're selling on your own website, if you're going to put it in the description, you don't have to put it in this. It's all whatever you want to put on there if you want to include it in your preview sleeve. So let me go into Photoshop Elements. For your preview sleeve, you're going to want to go to File, and then New, Blank File, and set this to pixels, width 600, height 600, resolution 300. You can put it at 72 if you're only using it for on the web, but I always do mine at the highest resolution possible. Color mode, RGB color. Background is transparent. Okay, so basically for how I created mine on here, I just used the rectangle tool and did a top banner and a bottom banner like this. Grab my rectangle tool, grab a color. You can use your color that you're sticking with for your business, or you can change up the colors for every clip art set, whatever your personal preference is, but I did a rectangle up there. Whoops. And duplicated that rectangle by, in this program, it's not Control D like you use in Corel Draw. This is Control J in this program for a duplicate layer. And then I created a little banner shape in Corel like this. And I just saved it as a PDF file and then placed it on here. But you can also use your different shapes, like if you want to use a circle or something. And color that circle darker. You can do the stroke to that circle. Let me slow down a bit and show you how I did that. If you right click on that shape, edit layer style, stroke, that will give it an outline, and you can change the size of the outline, thicker, thinner, the color of the outline. You can add a drop shadow to it by doing the same thing. Right click, edit layer style, drop shadow. Okay. If you hold down the control key and then click the plus sign, you can zoom in. And if you hold down the control key and click the minus sign, you can scroll out, zoom out. I'm going to add a stroke to these two, just to kind of show you what you can do, different things you can do. And And a drop shadow. And you can make your drop shadow less or more and change the position of it with these settings. $75 is pretty harsh. I tend to use 25 and 50 most of the time. Okay. And so you see over here in your layers panel, now you're seeing all your layers, your two banners, your circle. I'm gonna go in here and click the create new layer button and slide that down to the bottom and make that a color, just so you can see what the preview sleeve is looking like on a color background instead of a transparent background. Okay, so you see your drop shadow underneath that banner, your drop shadow underneath the circle, and this is where all your clip art designs are going to go in there. And your watermark is going to go over that. It's super important to have a watermark because people can easily take your images, like save this as an image, and then go in and use a program like Photoshop and crop that out and try to sell it as a clip art set. They just can't include an EPS file, or you know, and they'll call it their own and rip you off that way. But if you have a watermark, it lessens the chance that people are going to be able to really take these out and resell them. The other important thing to do is, instead of using a white background, is to use some sort of a textured background or a colored background. I have a white background on a lot of mine that were my first ones that I made, and that really wasn't a good thing for me to do. This is my old style clip art sets. These were my first ones that I had done last year. These are my newer ones, and you can see the changes that I've made over the year to improve keeping my images safe and looking nice. Bless you, baby. Okay, so let's see. Let's go back to here. Like I said, you can be super creative with this. Just keep it simple and clean. If you are going to add your text, click the text tool over here, little T, and my computer is being super slow. Okay, and click your mouse, make your text smaller, choose your font, and you can say Digi set 8 images. It's behind a layer right now, so I'm going to drag that text layer up on top of my banner layer so that shows. Move it around with your select tool. Double click it if you want to edit the size. Press the check mark if it looks good. You know, that's play around with this and make it your own. When you get something that's completed that you like, that maybe you added your logo or whatever, if you have a background color up while you were designing to see how it's going to look like over your sets, just turn off that layer so you can't see it anymore. Or you could drag that into the trash can so it's not there. because when you save this, you want this background to be transparent. The only images you want on there is your sleeve image. Okay, so when you go to save this, you're going to go to File, Save As, and you save it in PNG format, and label it whatever you want. Put it in your new Clipart template file, or however you're organizing your files, wherever you want that to be. Name it your preview sleeve, or whatever you want to call it, and PNG file. And then click Save, which I'm not going to do because this is just an example. And then from now on, when you're ready to save an image or a Clipart set preview image, you're going to open this up, and all you need to do is go to File, Place, and then you find one of your completed Clipart set pictures. Let me try an example like this right here, and place. Click OK. Move that behind your banner images. Oops. Drag it all the way to the bottom. Yay! And then you have your little clip arts on there. So that's how you do your sleeve. All right. Let me get out of this. And let me go over to CorelDRAW and show you how to save these little guys as separate files. Sorry, just had to get my baby is passy. Okay. All right. So this is the tedious part of Clipart design. It's saving these files in all their formats. But it's also the necessary part and the part that makes you money. So let's get started. When you're done your Clipart set, make sure that you file, save the whole thing as a Corel file. And then save it as a PDF file. So you are absolutely positive that you have that as a image backup. Okay. Current document PDF preset as prepress, and compatibility Acrobat 6.0 is what mine's set up. You can put yours at whatever you need, but this is what I do. Okay. Okay. Now, what we need for a Clipart set is each one of these little images saved as a JPG, which is on a white background, and each one of these as a PNG, saved on a transparent background. While I'm waiting for this little thing to go, Okay, it's not responding for a second, so I'm going to pause this recording and come back when I get it refreshed. Okay, sorry about that. All right. Excuse me. Back to this. What you want to do is make sure all of these little images are put into their own separate groups without any other layers from any other image in that group. Go in and double check and make sure that it's all there. You can click on one and delete it just to make sure the whole portion of that image is in that group, and then press Control Z to bring it back. Just double check that all of it's there. If you're missing like the eyes or something in a group and you save that, it's not going to have the eyes on there. So it's really important to have all your groups together and organized well. Okay. For the first one, what I'm going to do is there's a lot of images here, so I'm going to try to organize my brain as far as what I'm going to save first. I'm probably going to do the ducks first from left to right, and then the family, and then I'll go in and do these, and then probably the splashes and the bubbles and the text, or the other text, and then the other little accessories that I have, the crown, the bow tie, and the brush. Just figure out what your gonna go-to plan is, because sometimes it's easy to not remember exactly where you are in saving things. Okay, so let's start with the first duck. I'm gonna go to File, Save As. We have to save all of these as PDF files first. Selected only, and name it whatever you want to name it. I'm going to say Duck 1. I already have Duck 1 saved, but I'm just going to pretend that I don't have any of these saved and just go through all of it with you. PDF settings, selection, set by selected objects, and the same thing here, pre-press. Just press OK when you see this. This is going to get a little bit repetitive because I have a lot of these to do, so feel free to fast forward through the recording if you need to. And my computer is getting really slow right now, and that's maddening. Okay, sorry, I keep getting, my computer keeps freezing up on me, but instead of going through and doing all of these, since I think I need to restart my computer for this program to be able to kick back in, my computer, I've had my computer for like 8 years, and I think it's time for me to upgrade, but anyway, I'm going to do one more of these, just save it to PDF format so you can see how to do that again, because I know I just got cut off with the last one. And then you're going to do the same thing for every separate image that you're going to include in your set. I'm going to be doing the rubber word separately, the ducky word separately, all of these characters separately. Everything has their own file. Every complete image has their own file, I should say. Okay, so let me save this little guy again, or yeah, again. Go to File, Save As, Adobe Portable Document Format, PDF. Label it. Duck 2. Selected only, because you don't want to save the whole thing, you just want to save that one thing you clicked on. And save. Yes. Yes, make sure you click on whatever image you're trying to save. So it's selected. Okay. and it's doing the not responding thing to me again. So anyway, that's what you do for every one of the pictures in your set. After that's all finished, you're going to go into your Photoshop elements and then open your preview sleeve that you made. And I'm just going to open one that's already in a different kit because I don't have my sleeve saved separately, but I should, but I don't. Sorry, I'm just going to clear this out. Okay. All right, now I'm going to give it a background color behind my sleeve template by making a new layer. And I'm going to give that a color. Okay, and this is going to be called Rubber Duckies. And I don't know how many images are in that set yet. I'm going to have to count it, but go to File, Place, find my rubber ducky file, place the PDF set file that you saved. That was the PDF that you saved of everything. Place that. It's going to give you a preview to make sure that that's the image that you want. You press OK. You might have to make it a little smaller. If you do make it smaller, make sure that it's not getting wonky. If it's getting shorter or fatter than the other side, you just have to hold down your shift key while you resize it. And that will make it a perfect square. That background color isn't doing anything for this set, so I'm going to go with like a purple, maybe? Darker purple? I have a lot of white outlines in this. Whoa, that's way too dark. In the text, and I want to make sure that that shows up. Okay. That's cute. If you have really light graphics like this, you might want to select the layer, your set layer, and edit layer style, and add a drop shadow. Not that big of a drop shadow, but a slight drop shadow. And you can play around with the distance and the opacity just to make it pop a little bit more from the page. Okay. And you can also add a texture to the background if you want to. If you go to, make sure you have, if you want to add like a polka dot background or something like that, just make sure it's really, really subtle and choose the two colors on here that are almost exactly the same, just a little bit different, just to give it a little bit of a depth but not take away from your image. Let me slow down. I went to Filter, Filter Gallery. These are all the different artistic things you can do to your background image. The bas relief, that's going to give it a gradient. If you click on that, you can see your two colors, the darker ones on the top, lighter ones on the bottom. You can switch that around by going to here, left to right, whatever you want. Halftone pattern, that's going to take your two colors that you selected over here and put it into whatever pattern that you want. If you want polka dots, I always use 2 for the size, otherwise if it's bigger they look more like checkers. Don't use the circle one because it's too crazy. It's too distracting. Okay, and if you use the line, make sure the colors are really, really close together, so it doesn't distract either. The other one I like to use a little bit is water paper. It doesn't show up very well with these colors, but if you use something darker, like darker gray and like a white, it will make a really cool design. Those are pretty much the 3 that I stick to: the water paper, the halftone, and the bas relief. Okay. Now that has a cute little polka dot background. And it's pretty gender neutral, which is what I'm going for in case people use this for a baby shower design for stationery. The other thing I want to change is the color of my banners to kind of go along with these. Make it maybe a blue like the daddy duck. So go over to my picker tool. I'm going to choose this blue and maybe work from there. And make those both the same color blue. Alright, so what I'm going to do to change this, I'm not going to use the paint bucket because I have a gradient on here, and if I use the paint bucket, it will make it look a little bit funny. If you have a flat color, go ahead and use the paint bucket, that's okay. Oops. But since I have a gradient, I want it to be smooth. So if you hold down the control button and click U, you can go to colorize, click colorize, and then slide these around. Oops. I had the background selected instead of that banner selected. Control U, colorize, and it's going to make it this color that you selected in that box. And you can play around with these, saturation, and the dark and light. Oops. Just remember what you choose. So I didn't touch anything, I just, up there I just did the 25 for the light. Okay, I'll go down here and click the same thing, colorize that. put 25 for the light so it matches the top. Okay. And same thing with this banner, colorize. 25. Okay. There. Now that's a color that matches, and it's cute. So let's count how many images I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 19 separate images. So I'm going to go down here, change the 8 to 19, click the check mark for OK, make sure everything looks good, and I think I'm all set to save this. I have a watermark over, the watermark should be the first layer on in your layers panel, just to make sure that it's over everything. Alright, file, save this as in my rubber ducky folder. Save it as, I save it as a Photoshop. In case I look and see, oh, I forgot something or I messed something up, then I'll have the editable copy. But you're going to also save it as a JPG, and that's the one that you're going to be using online. Quality 10, maximum. Okay. Alright, so that preview file is done. So this is what your little set's going to look like on the internet. Cute. Cute, cute. Okay, if you don't have a watermark, this is how you make one. Start a new file, document in Corel. If you have a logo, you can import your logo design, or you can create one in here. If you just want a text watermark like I have, you can put in your business name. This is a fake business name, but just use it as an example. And if you highlight that, you can change the font size, and then you can type your rights reserved, no sharing, whatever you want to put on there, copyright info. Change your font to whatever you want. Add a background on here just so you can see what it looks like over a color. I'll delete that later. And then to watermark this, you can change the text to a lighter gray, a little bit lighter gray, and then add a transparency. if you go to this little picture right here with the 3 squares and click the triangle on the corner, it will bring down all these tools, and your transparency tool is right here. Oops, hold on. I'm going to convert this to curves first. Sorry. So right click, convert it to curves, and then it's like an image, and then you can add the transparency to it. So click the transparency. Right up here it says none, but you want to put that to uniform and normal, and then you can make it as light or as dark as you want. That's super light. Probably keep it around that that color. That's how it would look on a color background. That's how it would look on a white background. There, that's about right. You can always put an image on there just to see what it would look like over an image. It's freezing up on me again. Let's pause this, wait for it to catch. Okay, sorry about that. Alright, so anyway, here is your watermark design. And to save this, after you get it to the transparency lightness that you want, go to File, Export, go to whatever folder you want to save it in, select it only, make sure it's clicked on, like that, and then save it as a PNG. Oops. Call it what you want. Click Export. And it's going to give you a preview, RGB color, transparency. Just press OK. Now that's saved as a PNG file. It's a picture over a transparent background. And also, you could alternatively save that as a PDF. And I actually prefer PDFs for images just because I can size them up and size them down and they're not going to pixelate. But either way, you can save it as whatever you want. A PDF or a PNG. That's how you do both. Alright, and then when you get your setup here, you go to File, Place, find where you saved your watermark. Place it. There. You have a little watermark on there now. So that's how you do the watermark. Now, since you went in here, and I'm not going to go through all of it all of the saving the separate files, but I think that you got the hang of how to do that. What we need to do is save those separate PDF files that you saved of every little image and put it on its own image canvas that we're going to zip in our file folder. So you're going to go to File, New. This is the part of actually saving the set. For width, you're going to change this to inches. 4 to 5 inches works good, and that's the recommended size. I always go to 5. 5 inches width, 5 inches height, resolution 300, RGB, transparent. Okay. Now you go to File, Import, or File Place. Go to your the folder you're working out of, which is the rubber duckies for me right now. And after you have all of these saved separately from Corel, you're going to have a bunch of these show up on your computer, a bunch of PDF files labeled for all of your separate images. Go in order from left to right, top to bottom, so you don't forget any of them. And just click on the first one, place it. Click OK. Again, sorry about my computer being so slow. It needs to be rebooted big time. Okay, and you want your clip art set to take up a good portion of the size of your canvas. So for this, I need to make him bigger. So I don't want him to distort. So if I click the left mouse button and hold down the Shift key, that's going to make sure that this doesn't distort. Sometimes it's vice versa. Sometimes it will be working right off the bat, and sometimes if you click it, it's distorting. So if it is distorting, hold down your Shift key. And don't click the OK button until you're completely done resizing it. Okay, so he's sized. Good now. You go to File, Save As. In your Rubber Duckies folder now, you're going to want to make a separate folder for the PNG files and the JPG files, just to keep everything organized. So JPG, PNG. Open your JPG folder, save it as Duck1 JPG, save. Okay. And then again, you go to File, Save As, go back to your Rubber Duckies, go into the PNG folder, click PNG for your file format, label it Duck1, Save As. Okay. So now you have in your folder you have your duck in your JPG and your duck in your PNG. I'm going to pause this for a minute. Oops. Alright, my kids just walked in the door, so there might be some background noise for the rest of this video, but I'll try to get through it quickly. Okay, yes, there's Bop-a-Mo going on right now in the background. Okay, so you have your PNG files all in your PNG folder, your JPG files all saved in there. You're going to have 19 of these in each. Well, I will because I have 19 files. Guys, shh. Sorry. Okay. So as soon as you have all of your files saved in each one of these folder in the formats, then you can zip that, or not yet, sorry. Then you can go to your Adobe Illustrator program and File, Open. Alright, I need to take this game away from them. It's too crazy. Sorry, just one. I'm sorry, I had to leave the room for a minute. They're playing whack-a-mole. Alright, you want to open the PDF file that you saved of your entire set. Rubber Ducky set, open. And this is how we're saving our editable copy in Adobe Illustrator, which is not responding apparently right now. Let's see if it will pop up. My kids are in the playroom with the child gate on and they're not very happy right now. I don't know if you can hear them in the background or not, but we're almost done. Okay, all right. So now here is all of your editable things that you just want to go over here, File, Save As, EPS, Illustrator EPS, Save. If you, my kids are screaming. I'm gonna have to pause this again in a minute, but if you used radial gradients or transparencies in your set, you need to save it as Illustrator 10 because that is going to be able to read those effects. If you didn't, you're safe to save it down to an Illustrator 8. And then your EPS file is saved. And it's right here. So the next thing you need is your terms of service. All of this is going to include your license information, like what's okay to use for commercial use, what's okay to use for personal use, all that stuff. Save that, write that in a plain text file, and you're going to want to include that. Here is, I'll show you the one that I have right now. The one that I'm using currently is just super simple because what I'm saving is a zip file from my Graphico. So all of their terms of use are on their website. So it just says to go to read the terms of use on the website. But if you have terms of use on your own website with your license agreements and all that stuff, then put that into your notepad file and file, save it as plain text document, and include that into your zip file. So I have my terms of service, my EPS, my PNG, and my JPG. Those are the things that I'm including. You can include your PDF copies, your entire Corel copy, whatever you want to put in there is fine. But this is the the norm. This is what's usually in people's download files. So to grab all of those things that you're gonna put in your zip folder, you hold down the control button and you click each of the things that you want to include, so they're all clicked on, and then right click one of them, send to compressed zip folder, and then name it whatever you want. Press enter, and then double check it. Just click on that. Whoops, right click on it and extract all. My children are not getting along right now. Extract, and just make sure that whatever is in this file is exactly what's supposed to be in there. So it's good. Okay. So when you put this online, you're using your preview image as your product photo. That's not going into your zip folder. And then your zip file is the product itself with all of your files included in the zip folder. So that should do it. And if you have any questions, obviously feel free to shoot me an email. Okay, hopefully that helps, and hopefully you start making money. Right.